I've enjoyed the fellowship with you precious brothers, our dear kindred in Christ, and no matter where you're from, no matter your background, no matter where you live, I tell you, we're brothers in the Lord, aren't we? And it's good to be in the big family of God. If you got your Bibles, I want you to turn with me to 2 Samuel chapter 23. 2 Samuel chapter 23. And what a need for us to be men of God. What a need for us to be men of God. I believe it was Paul who told Timothy, he said, thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier for Jesus Christ. For no man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who has chosen him to be a soldier. Oh, what a need to be men of God, to be soldiers of the cross. And it's just good to be here. I don't want to be like one fella that I heard about. I didn't do that, brother. That wasn't me. I heard of a fella down in Kentucky that him and his wife were sitting in their living room one afternoon, and she just fell over dead. I mean, graveyard dead, right in the living room. And he called the funeral director, and here they come. Got the stretcher, walked through the yard, up the steps, through the porch, into the living room, put her on the stretcher, went out through the living room, out on the porch, down the steps, going through the yard, and it just so happened that the stretcher was bumped into an old white oak tree, and it jarred her, and she came to. And they worked on her and resuscitated her, and she lived for 10 years. And 10 years later, they're sitting in the living room. And just as sure as before, she fell over dead right in the living room. And just like before, he called the funeral director. And they showed up, pulled out the stretcher, walked through the yard, up the steps, through the porch, into the living room, packed her up, and went out the living room, out on the porch, down the steps. But this time the man ran ahead of them and stopped them and said, boys, watch out for that big white oak tree. Hey, I don't want to be like that fella, do you? No, sir. 2 Samuel chapter 23, if you found your place, say amen. I am honored and I'm humbled. I feel like there's brothers here that I couldn't pack your water, but I am honored to stand in this place and pray that God would help me. I know you brothers know this, and I'm not just saying this to say it for sake of saying it. I mean this from the depths of my heart. I know that without the Lord, all I can do is fail. I'm reminded Jesus said, if you abide in me and I abide in you, he said, the same would bring forth much fruit. But without me, you can do nothing. I have found in life all I can do without him is fail. Oh, I'm telling you, when the Lord is your helper, when the Lord stands by your side, and he speaks to you as he did Joshua, and he said, I'll go before you, and I'll be with you, and I'll not fail you nor forsake you. Brother, you can enter into the battle with confidence. You can enter in with courage. And you can enter in with a determination to know that God is by your side. Amen. 2 Samuel chapter 23. Look at verse 8. We're going to read verses 8, 9, and 10. These be the names of the mighty men whom David had. The Tachmonite that sat in the seat chief among the captains. The same was Adino the Eznite. He lifted up his spear against 800 whom he slew at one time. Bless God, that's the man you want on your side. Amen. And after him was Eleazar, the son of Dodo, the Ahohite, one of the three mighty men with David, when they defied the Philistines that were there, gathered together to battle, and the men of Israel were gone away. He arose and smote the Philistines until his hand was weary, and his hand clave under the sword. And the Lord brought a great victory that day, and the people returned after him only to spoil. Brother Brent, would you ask a blessing on the preaching of God's Word, brother?
Father, we're so thankful for you.
Yes, yes.
Lord, I pray in the name of Jesus, Lord. I help every single one of us, Lord.
Yes, sir.
I pray you start with the preaching and work your way back. God, we need the touch, we need the power and the strength. I pray you help us to continue to serve you.
Yes, sir.
Spirit and in truth, Lord. I pray for all our churches, Lord.
Yes,
sir. Serve. I pray you help us to be men of God, Lord. Give all recognition to you.
Yes, God.
I love you so much. In Jesus' name we pray. And all God's men said,
Amen. If the Lord would help me for just a little while, I want to preach on call him Eleazar. The pronunciation is Elazar. But this mighty man of David, I read about him and just see very few things about him. But I see some things in him, man of God, that encourages me and that ought to encourage you. Listen, we don't have to paint a pretty picture. I don't have to sugarcoat anything for you to know that you and I were living in perilous times. We're living in perilous times, and if there was ever a need, listen, in our homes, in our churches, in our communities, in our country, if there was ever a need, Brother Terry, of men of God, to stand up and go to battle, to stand up and draw out the sword, and listen, and keep swinging the sword, and listen, to stand up for our families, and stand up for our churches, and stand up for the glorious faith of Jesus Christ. Brother, it's now. Oh, I want to encourage you for just a little while, why you and I need to keep swinging our sword. And if God would help me, I want to preach on this, why I'm going to keep swinging my sword. And the first thing I want you to see is this: the reason I'm going to keep swinging my sword is because of the multitude that retreated. The multitude that retreated. Don't miss this in verse 9. Look at the end of verse 9. The Bible tells us about Elazar, listen to the son of Dodo, the Ahohite. Listen to what he said: when they defied the Philistines that were there together to battle, and the men of Israel were gone away. Preacher, why you going to keep swinging your sword? I'm telling you today, the reason I am going to keep swinging my sword is because of the multitude that has retreated. Don't miss this now. As Israel went to battle against the Philistines, the Bible said here that the men of Israel were gone away. What does that mean, preacher? Well, that just means that some of them went away. Some of them retreated. Some of them went AWOL. Some of them done left. Some of them took tail and run. Some of them, brother, couldn't be found. Some of them retreated and disappeared. I'm telling you, there were some that were gone away. I'm telling you, look around, brethren. I'm telling you, this church house ought to be full of men of God who are hungry to come together in fellowship and pray as iron sharpens iron, be encouraged by one another. But brother, I'm afraid we have more empty pews than full ones, and I'm not trying to be pessimistic or doom and gloom, but I'm telling you, the reason why preachers, I'm going to keep swinging my sword is because of the multitude that has retreated. Brother, where are the men of God today? Where are the men of God? I'm telling you, there's some that have went AWOL. There's some that have disappeared. There's some that's retreated. There's some that's gone by the wayside. There's some, listen, I'm telling you, that are interested in everything else but God. But I'm telling you, I'm going to keep swinging my sword because of the multitude that retreated. And then Elazar went into battle, and then I believe he must have looked around and listened to those that were by his side, those that were marching with him, those that went into battle with him, they were nowhere to be found. I believe that Elazar walked into battle and started looking around and wondering, where did this one go? And where's this one at? And they used to be with me. Where they at now? You know what the Bible said, Brother Clement? They were gone away. You know why I'm going to keep swinging my sword? You know why? Because of the multitude that's retreated. Can I tell you, we're living, listen, number one, we're living in a time of apostasy. Hey. I told you I'm not trying to be doom and gloom. I'm just being real, brother. We're living in a time of apostasy. Hey, listen, I know there's a church on every corner. I know there's a church every mile or two, every block or two. But I'm telling you, it ain't every building that has a steeple. It ain't every building that has a cross. It ain't every building that has a pulpit and a padded pew that's preaching the Word of God. There's a lot of men, brother, that have gone away. Wesley in the latter times, that some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisy, and having their conscience seared with a hot iron. But I've got news for you. We're living in that time now. We're living in that time now. Listen, I believe Brother Clement posted on Facebook a quote from there in Isaiah when he said, "Woe unto them that call good evil and evil good, that take light for darkness and darkness for light, that turn bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter." We're living in that time now. Preacher, why are you going to keep swinging your sword? Because we're living in a time of apostasy, and our people need to hear the word of God. Our people that are one heartbeat away from hell need to hear the gospel, and then your wives and your sons and your daughters and your grandbabies, they need to hear the gospel. Your neighbors and your friends, your co-workers, they need to hear the word of God. I'll tell you the reason why I'm going to give up, the reason why I'm turning back, the reason why I'm not going away, is because I want to keep swinging my sword. Time of apostasy. You know what? It ain't just a time of apostasy. We're living in a time of apathy. You pastors know what I'm talking about. We're living in a time of apathy. Hey, you know what? I believe I heard a statistic. They said 7 churches a day are closing their doors in America. You know why that is? Because people are apathetic and they're complacent. And that's why when Paul wrote to the church of Rome, here's what he said in Romans 13 and 11. And he said that now, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time that we awake out of our sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. And preacher, why are you going to keep swinging your sword? Because we're living in a time of apathy. We're living in a time that the multitude has retreated. Amen. We're living in a time that statistics say that for someone to be a committed Christian, they're to go to church 2 times a month. Brother, I'm telling you, we're living in an apathetic time. Brother, people they're not concerned about souls. They're not concerned about the welfare of the church. They're not worried about missions. They're not worried about outreach. They're not worried about being a help to somebody. They want to sit on a patio pew for an hour and a half, go back to the house and do what they want to do. But brother, I'm telling you, I'm going to keep swinging my sword. I'm going to keep swinging my sword. They can retreat if they want to. They can go back if they want to. They can give in, give up, and give out if they want to. But I'm just going to keep swinging my sword. Glory! I'm going to keep swinging my sword. Hey, listen, as a pastor, I can preach and I can encourage and I can show them what God said, but what they do with it is up to them. There's a lot of folks come in and leave the same way they come in, unchanged, unaltered, and unconcerned. They're going to have to give an account for what they do. I'm going to give an account for what I do, and I'm just going to keep swinging my sword because of a multitude that's retreated. Hey, listen, lastly, I'm going to keep swinging my sword. Listen, because we're living in a time of anarchy. Hey, we're living in a time of apostasy, a time of apathy, and we're living in a time of anarchy. Hey, turn the TV on, brother. Pick up your newspaper. Hey, listen, if you ain't depressed, turn the news on. You will be before you're done. I'm telling you, I'm only 45 this year, but I've never seen a time like we're living in now. We're living in a time of anarchy. In fact, John said this about anarchy. He said, every spirit that confesses not that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is not of God. And this is the spirit of Antichrist, whereof you've heard that it should come, and even now already it is in the world. Hey, John said, you've heard that the spirit of Antichrist has come. I tell you, it's not just going to come, it's already here. And John wrote that about 2,000 years ago, and if it was there then, it's here now. And we're living in a time of corruption, confusion, and chaos. And the reason why I'm going to keep swinging my sword is because our people need to hear the authority of thing. And we're living in a time of anarchy. Brother, listen, God needs some soldiers. And Paul said, thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier for Jesus Christ. He didn't tell you it was all going to be candy and carousel. He didn't tell you it was all going to be a flowery bed of ease. Listen, that's why he said, fight the good fight of faith, brother. He told you it'd be a battle. Oh, don't you lay your sword down. Eleazar looked around. He didn't know where they went to. All he knew is he had a battle to fight. He had a sword in his hand, and he was going on into war. Bless God, he just keeps swinging that sword. You keep fighting that fight. Hey, Daddy, hey, Grandpa, hey, preacher, hey, man of God, you just keep swinging your sword. Don't you get up. You keep swinging your sword. Hey, God is going to do great things in you, through you, and for you. Number two, reason I'm going to keep swinging my sword, not only because of the multitude that's retreated, but number two, because of my responsibilities. Not just because of the multitude that's retreated, that sorry bunch that's pulled back, and that's gone away, that's sat down, laid down, give up, give in. Hey, listen, not just because of that, but because of my responsibilities. Look at verse 10. Now listen, they were going into battle against the Philistines. The Bible said the children of Israel, the men of Israel, were gone away. But listen to what he did. Ooh, what a man. He arose and spoke to the Philistines until his hand was weary, and his hand clave unto the sword. You know how easy it would have been just to say, well, boys, how's this go with you? Hey, listen, if you're going to go away, I might as well go with you. You ain't going to fight, I ain't going to fight either. Hey, listen, I'll just go wherever you go, do whatever you do. I'll just join the crowd. No, sir. While they were going away, he was going forward. While they were going away, he was going ahead. While they were giving up, brother, he was going on. I said, I'm just going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep swinging my sword. Amen. Why? Because he had some responsibilities. Man of God, look up in here. You've got some responsibilities. Someone said, well, preacher, what's my responsibilities? Let me give you three real fast. Number one, to exalt the Savior. Amen. Woo! Brother Clement done told you when he sung, hey, listen, it's all about him. Paul said, I'm crucified with Christ. Nevertheless, I live, yet not I, but Christ liveth in me. And the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by the faith of the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. You know what Paul was saying? Bless God, it ain't about me. It's all about him. Sir, you've got a responsibility. I've got a responsibility. Preacher, why are you going to keep swinging your sword? Don't you know it's the 21st century? Don't you need to know that we need to be more tolerant? We need to be more acceptable. We need to fit in. We need to make people feel comfortable. No, sir, no, sir. I'm going to keep swinging my sword. Hey, why? Because I've got some responsibility. Number one responsibility, exalt the Savior. Can I tell you, the Word of God is filled with admonition and instruction for you and I to praise Him, for you and I to exalt Him, for you and I to glorify Him, for you and I to lift Him up. In fact, just Psalm 150 itself, just Psalm 150 alone, in that short psalm of 6 verses, 13 times in that one little psalm, He tells you and I to praise the Lord, to praise the Lord. Why am I going to keep swinging my sword? Because I want to exalt the Savior. I want to lift Him up. I want to give Him glory. In fact, He says here in that second verse, excellent greatness. I don't know about you, but I ain't got over Calvary. I ain't got over the fact that He found me lost and undone, ruined in my sin. And when He found me, Brother Brent, He reached down way below the bottom. He pulled me up. I'm a very bitter sin. He washed in His own rich red wool, redeeming blood, and made me a fit subject for the kingdom of God. Some folks, they got so religious, they forgot about where they were. The Lord found them. got some responsibilities to exalt the Savior, but listen, to edify the saints. Ooh. This ain't all about you, sir. Hey, listen, I'm telling you, we've got some responsibilities. I love 1 Corinthians 14. Paul writes to the church of Corinth, and verse 12, he says, even so ye, for as much as you are zealous of spiritual gifts, seek that you may excel to the edifying of the church. Paul said, you want some spiritual gifts? Y'all worried about your spiritual gifts and where you're going to rank on the list of spiritual gifts. Paul said, I'll tell you what you need to worry about more than anything. You need to worry that you excel in edifying the church, edifying the saints. And can I tell you, sir, how you live, how you talk, how you walk, where you go, how you behave, listen, the intents of your heart, everything you do, has to be to exalt the Savior and to edify the saints, to excel in edifying the church. I know there's a lot of folks that have shamed the church. There's a lot of folks that have given the church a black eye. There's a lot of church folks that have destroyed their testimony. But sir, the reason why you and I need to keep swinging our swords is because we need to edify the saints of God. When they see my life, Brother Matt, when they see my life, I want to give Him glory. And I want to, as an ambassador of Christ, I want to represent the church. And wherever I go, whatever I do, whatever they see me in, I want it to be glorified to God. And I want to edify the saints. I want to encourage you. I don't want to tear you down. I don't want to get stumbling block to you. I don't want to hinder you. I want to exhort you, edify you, encourage you, and help you along. Bless God. Just keep swinging your sword. I know there's folks that have been given over to temptation. I know there's folks that have stumbled in their faith. I know there's folks that have plumb fell on their face. And forever that will follow them through life. This is the reason why you need to keep swinging your sword. The reason I need to keep swinging my sword is so that we can edify the saints. Yes, sir. But number 3, I'm going to keep swinging my sword because I want to evangelize the sinner. Woo! I'm telling you, sir, you've got children, you've got grandbabies, you've got friends and neighbors that are one heartbeat away from hell. And while folks are fighting over the color of the carpet, while folks are arguing over what to eat at their Valentine banquet, brother, there's folks that are dying and going out to hell. And brother, I'm telling you, you and I, brother, we have a responsibility to keep swinging our sword because there's lost souls that need to be saved. There are folks that need to hear the gospel. There are folks that need to have somebody reach out and love to them and let them know that, listen, there's a reality and it's true in a living God. That's why Jesus instructed us in Mark 16. He said unto them, go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. He that believeth and is baptized shall be saved, and he that believeth not shall be dead. Can I tell you, there ain't no place to retreat. There ain't no place to go in. There ain't no place to sit down. There ain't no place to give up. There ain't no place to find a flowery dead leaves. You keep swinging your sword. You keep swinging your sword. And I know, listen, Eleazar must have got so tired. He must have got so weary. As those men gave up and went back and he charged in the battle, the Bible said his hand was so weary that it just clave to the sword. Let's get real, men of God. Sometimes we get weary. Sometimes we get tired. Sometimes we get discouraged. Sometimes it would be so easy not to go. Sometimes it would be so easy to say, let somebody else do it. So many times it would be easy to say, well, I've got other things to do. But he just kept swinging his sword. He kept swinging his sword. He kept swinging his sword. He got so weary that his hand just clave to the sword. But he knew he had some responsibilities. He knew God had a purpose and a plan. He knew there was nowhere to give up. No matter what anybody else did, but God, he just kept swinging his sword. Oh, you know what? I'm going to keep swinging my sword because I want to exalt the Savior. I want to edify the saints. And I sure want to evangelize the sinner. And I want to see them come in before it's too late. You ain't got to preach like me. You ain't got to act like me, but don't fall out with me because I didn't. Preacher. I'm just who I am. And you be who you are. And then we'll just love one another, pray for one another, encourage one another, and we'll walk side by side in the battle and just keep swinging our sword, and we'll win victory for the Lord. And then bless God, sir. Just keep swinging your sword. Let me say this now. Why I'm going to keep swinging my sword, not only because of the multitude that's retreated. They went back. Many of them went back. I'm going to keep swinging my sword because of my responsibilities. Eleazar went right into the battle. But number three, I'm going to keep swinging my sword because of the manifold riches. Yes. Hey, can I tell you something? This pays great dividends, brother. Yeah. Hey, man. Yeah. I'm going to keep swinging my sword because of the manifold riches. Look with me at the end of verse 10. And the Lord. Woo! You ain't going to do it with your charisma. You ain't going to do it with your Bible smarts. You ain't going to do it with your big plans. You ain't going to do it with your cell groups. You ain't going to do it with your big ideas. You ain't going to do it with your own power and your own might. I don't care how much money you got in the treasury. I don't care how many folks you got on staff. But you ain't going to do it on your own. The Bible said, and the Lord brought a great victory. That's how they changed. It still takes God. We can purpose, we can plan, and we can have programs. But what we need is the presence and the power and the provision of God. It still takes Him to bring about victory. And the Lord brought a great victory. That's good. That day, listen to this, and the people returned after him only the spoil. What a sorry bunch. You got something like that in your church? Come on, man. They don't want to do nothing, but they want to tell you how to do it. For sure. And then when it's time to reap the benefits, they're right there with their hand out. We got something like that, don't we? I wonder what Eleazar must have thought about that bunch. But I'm going to tell you, the reason I'm going to keep swinging my sword is because of the manifold riches. Notice the Lord brought a great victory. Notice there was some spoil. Number one, can I say this? Someone said, preacher, why do you keep swinging your sword? Because of the manifold riches. Number one, listen, notice the conquest of the enemy. Yes, sir. The conquest of the enemy. Can I tell you, isn't it good to have a guaranteed victory? Preacher. Woo! Hey, it might get pretty bad in this thing, brother, if we didn't know that we know that we're on the winning side. That we know when it's all said and done, and the dust settles, brother, we've got victory. Hey, listen, but I tell you, on the worst of days, on the hardest of days, on the days when nothing ain't going right, and nobody's showing up, and you get discouraged, you just remember, brother, you keep swinging your sword, because there's some manifold riches. What is it, preacher? I'm telling you, you got victory. The conquest of the enemy. Notice what David said. Oh, 1 Chronicles 29:11. I love this. He said, "Thine, O Lord, is the greatness and the power and the glory and the victory and the majesty, for all that is in the heaven and in the earth is thine. Thine is the kingdom, O Lord, and thou art exalted as head above all." Bless God, it's good to know we've got a guaranteed victory. Bless God, it's good to know we're on the winning side. It's good to know that when all is said and done, we've got the conquest of the enemy, sure, and we're going to raise the flag of victory and sing glory, glory, glory. Amen. Bless God. I'm glad we've got some manifold riches. Not just the conquest of the enemy, but consider this, the comforts of the endearing. The comforts of the endearing. Jesus said this in John 14:21. He that hath my commandments and keepeth them. You know what that means? Keep swinging your sword. He that hath my commandments and keepeth them, he it is that loveth me, and he that loveth me shall be loved of my Father, and I will love him and will manifest myself to him. Woo! I don't know about you. I don't know about you. beautiful edifice here. I feel like we've got a pretty church building down in Wabash. I thank God for a good sound system. I thank God for a nice fellowship hall. I thank God for nice Sunday school rooms. I thank God for a church band. I thank God for all those things. But you know what? When I show up, brother, you know what I want? I want the Lord to manifest Himself. I want to walk in and know that I'm not only glad that the power of God is there, that the presence of the Lord is there. I want to know that the hand of God is on that place. I want to know that He's going to pour out fresh oil on me and on the church. I want to know that I love Him and He loves me. And He will manifest Himself unto me. I'll tell you the reason why I'm going to keep swinging my sword. I don't want a social club. I don't want to have a gathering. I want to have a church that has the power of God. Come over it, friend. That's what I know. Amen. I'm going to keep swinging my sword. In a day that many have traded preaching for motivational speaking. In a day where folks have traded worship for entertainment. When you walk place at a time, when you walk into the sanctuary and you don't know whether you're in a dance club or a church house. You don't know if you walk into a coffee bar or into the foyer of the church. I'm not trying to be ugly. I'm not trying to be ugly. But I'm telling you, friend, the reason I'm going to keep swinging my sword is because, brother, there is some manifold riches in this thing. And one of them is the comforts of the endearing. Brother, it's the fact that the Lord said, I will love you and I will manifest myself to you. And when it's all said and done, amen, I want to know that I know that He's always with me. And I can feel the warm embrace of the Holy Ghost of God and know that I am pleasing unto Him. Oh, there are folks that have done just about anything and everything just to get a crowd. You've heard the stories of stuff that's went on in the so-called church just to draw a big crowd. And when it's all said and done, it's going to come to naught. Yes, sir. Camille said, if this work or if this council be of man, it'll come to naught, but if it be of God, you can't overthrow it. Let's happily find yourself fighting against God. I want to know that He's pleased with me. Oh, the conquest of the enemy. The comforts of the enduring. And lastly, the certainty of the enduring. I said that. The certainty of the enduring. You remember what Paul said? We all know this verse. We've quoted it so many times. 2 Timothy chapter 4. Getting ready to come to the end of this journey. Bless God, he said, I'm ready to be offered up. The time of my departure is at hand. He didn't say he was dying. He said, I'm departing. That just means I'm moving my tent. I'm pulling up the anchor. I'm going somewhere else. Amen. The time of my departure is at hand. Notice what he said. I fought a good fight. Woo! You look at me. I just kept swinging my sword. Amen. I fought a good fight. I finished my course. I kept the faith. Henceforth there's a crown of righteousness laid up for me. Who the Lord, the righteous judge, will give you on that day. But not to me only, but to all men. The love is a period. Preacher, you're going to keep swinging your sword because of the certainty of the enduring. Brother God, I've got a reward waiting for me on the other side. You know, be faithful. The Lord said you be faithful unto death, and I'll give you a crown of life. God, I've got my eye on heaven, and I plan on getting there. And God, keep swinging your sword. The certainty of the enduring. Woo! Paul said, I know they're taking my head. It's all right. I've been faithful. I've kept swinging my sword. And here just a little while, I'm going to see that thing, and I'm going to lay it all down, but I've got a better home. Bless God, I've got the certainty of a better home. Can I close with this thought? We've talked about the multitude that's retreated. They did it in Eleazar's day, and they're doing it now. Where are the men of God at? The Bible said a faithful man who can find. You know what he's saying? It's hard to find somebody faithful. Everybody shows up for dinner. Nobody shows up on work day. Everybody shows up when you have the carnival. Nobody shows up when you have revival. Everybody shows up when the big singing group comes in. Nobody comes in. Nobody comes in. Listen, for Sunday school, listen, the multitude that's retreated. Number two, my responsibilities. Hey, listen. I love Brother James and Brother Johnny. I appreciate them being here. But you know what? If they walk away tomorrow, if they say, "Preacher, I've got better things to do tomorrow," if they say, "Preacher, we're going to another church down the road," hey, listen, whenever they decide, you know what? I've still got my responsibility. No matter what you do, no matter what anybody else does, no matter what Pastor Clinton or Pastor Jerry or Pastor Matt or whatever pastor here, no matter what they do, I've got my responsibility to keep swinging my soul. Yes. And listen, number three. Listen, the manifold riches. Oh, what a blessing. What a blessing, man of God, when you lay that sword down and you have to cross over. And you stand before him and he looks at you and says, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant."
Yes, sir.
Oh, listen, when you can pillow your head at night and know that you've kept his commandments and you've loved him and he loves you and he has manifested, you can go home and know that he showed up that day. Woo! You didn't have to drum it up, work it up. You didn't have to entertain the crowd. God done showed up and turned things upside down. And you had church that day. And that one you've been praying for walks the aisle and surrenders it all to Christ to get saved. You can go home and say, "Thank you, Lord." Listen, I get weary, I get tired. But every now and then the Lord passes by and just helps you along. And reminds you that there's a reward in this thing. Let me say this in closing. I'm going to keep swinging my sword. This is the last one, I promise. I'm going to keep swinging my sword. And the Lord just gave this to me, and I marked it down. So I'm going to keep swinging my sword because I want the makings of a revival. Yes. I want the makings of revival. Yes. Hey, listen. I told him last night, I said, I appreciate what God did 50 years ago.
Yeah, sure.
I do. I appreciate that. I hear stories. Ooh, they say 50 years ago, man, we'd have revivals. The church would be packed, folks would be looking through the window, and 50 would get saved each night. Man, I love to hear them old stories. But you know what? I want God to do that now. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I want God to do that at Sunrise. I want God to do that here at First Baptist. I want God to do that at Wabash. I want God to do that in Chicago. I want God to do that in Crown Point. But I'm telling you, I want God to show up. And the reason why, sir, you and I need to keep swinging our sword is because we need to see the makings of revival. Yes. Let me say 4 things and I'm done. Number 1, we need to be crying in sorrow. Yes. Sir, we need to be crying in sorrow. I look down to the scriptures. I see men of God who wept. I see Nehemiah. I see Nehemiah when he heard about the condition of Jerusalem, that the walls had been broke down, the gates were purified. Brother, he wept. Yes. I see Jeremiah, the Bible, he said, "Oh, that my head, that my eyes were about the tears in my head were about the waters." He said, "For the slain of the daughter of my people." Jeremiah wept. Yeah. Jesus wept over Jerusalem. Paul wept over his kinsmen according to the flesh. He wept over the folks of Ephesians, of Ephesus, brother, when he preached the truth to them and he had to talk from them. He wept and said, I preached to you day and night. I preached to you, I warned you day and night. He wept. Men of God, we need to be crying in sorrow over the condition of our country and our communities, our families, our churches, our society. We need to be weeping, men of God. Not only do we see them crying in sorrow, but we see them calling on the Savior. You know what I see Nehemiah? You know what the Bible said? Not only did he weep, but the Bible said he fasted and he prayed. I said he prayed all night long. Jesus prayed all night long. I see the disciples. I see them praying. I see them, the Bible said they prayed in one accord. I see them calling on the Savior. Can I take you, men of God? We need the Lord to do what only He can do. Yes. In our lives as men, it begins in our hearts. Yes. And then it'll flow over into our homes. Yes. And then it can flow over into the house of God. Yes. I'm telling you, it begins with you and I, not only crying in sorrow, but calling on the Savior. Yes, sir. And can I say this, something else we need to do? We need to confess our sin. Hey, listen, I'm telling you, God ain't going to bless sin. Right. Listen, you can hide it from your wife, you can sweep it under the rug, you can deceive yourself, and you can shrug your shoulders and say, well, nobody's perfect. And I'm telling you, sin will separate you from God, friend. Listen, you want God to bless your ministry, you want God to bless your church, we need to confess our sin. Nehemiah, you read this, brother, Nehemiah chapter 1, he confessed his sin. You read about a man by the name of Daniel, a man of wisdom and integrity. You know what? I believe it's Daniel chapter 9. He confessed his sin. Daniel confessed his sin. David confessed his sin. Psalm 38, Psalm 51, he confessed his sin. The New Testament church, listen, under the leadership of John, brother, they confessed their sin when he told them, if you say you have no sin, you deceive yourself and the truth is not in you. But if you confess your sin, he is faithfully just to forgive you of your sin and to cleanse you from all unrighteousness. Don't conceal it. Confess it. And God bless you. Why? Preacher, I want to keep sweet in my soul. I want to see revival. I want to see the makings of revival in my own heart. I want to see the making of revival in my home. I want to see the making of revival in the house of God. Amen. Listen, this is what our country needs. And you can call yourself Democrat, Republican, all you want to. I don't care who you put in the White House, brother. We need God. We need God, brother. He's the only hope we have. And I'm telling you, we need to listen. We need to cry in sorrow. We need to call on the Savior. We need to confess our sin. And then here, man of God, I'm done. We need to crave to serve. We need to have a craving to serve. Listen, man of God. You're supposed to lead your wife and your children. You're the spiritual leader of your home. Several of you, no doubt, are papaws, your grandpas, your grandbabies are looking up to you. Listen, I'm telling you, listen, you don't need to be sleeping in the church house. You don't need to be sitting on the back pew looking at your watch, wanting the preacher to hurry up so you get to the chicken house. Hey, you don't need to lay out midweek service, lay out Sunday night in your easy chair watching the TV. But we need to have a craving to serve. You need to keep swinging your sword, sir. Somebody's watching your life. Nehemiah had a cush job. He was the cupbearer for the king. I guarantee you he wore the finest clothes. I guarantee you ate the finest food, slept in the nicest bed. And brother, he was the king's cupbearer. But you know what? When it came time, he didn't say, well, send so-and-so. I believe so-and-so do a pretty good job. He didn't say, well, I ain't no carpenter. I'm a cupbearer. You know what he said? He said, I'll go. Send me. Send me out. Hey, what about Isaiah? The Lord said, who will go? Whom shall I send? Right here, Lord. Hey, right here. Hey, pick me. Hey, I'll go. Send me. Let's God. I'm glad of our Savior, the chiefest example that we have. And listen, the psalmist began to write concerning him. And he said, it is written in the volume of a book, it is written of me. I delight to do thy will, oh God. Jesus said, I didn't come down from heaven to do my own will, but I came to do the will of him that sent me. What about Paul? Do you read of anybody outside of Jesus who had more zeal for the work of God than the Apostle Paul? You know what, sir? We need to keep swinging our sword. Because I want to see the makings of revival. I know I went a little long, Pastor, but I just shared with you my heart, and I gave you what God gave me. I'm telling you, Eleazar kept swinging his sword. And I know it's easy, and I know the devil will do his best to discourage us, to back up, to not try so hard, you don't need to be so zealous. You don't need to be so adamant. You don't need to be so fanatical. And I know sometimes when we do, we look around and ain't nobody else in the battle with us. You talk about getting discouraged. You talk about getting sick. You talk about just saying, you know what? Nobody else is worried about it. Why should I be? Hey, you ever thought that, or am I the only one? Come on. Am I the only one that ever thought that? Well, nobody else cares. Why should I care? Well, keep swinging your sword, brother. We've got a multitude that's retreated. That don't mean we have to. We got some responsibilities that you and you alone are accountable for. Oh, there's the multitude of riches that you'll never know. If you back up, go AWOL, if you retreat, if you lay down, if you ease up, oh, God's got blessings for you, sir. And listen, I'm talking about the makings of revival. It ain't going to happen with you sitting on the sideline watching the game. It ain't going to happen with you just sitting by the wayside while everybody else does the work. It's going to happen, sir, when you step up as a man of God and say, God, I ain't much, But what I am, I'm yours. And whatever it is you want me to do, wherever it is you want me to go, God, whatever battle I need to fight, God, send me. Let me go. Let me be Eleazar. Hey, while everybody else is going back to the house, going back to their tents, while everybody else is saying it's too hard, and I've got too much other stuff to do. Well, you know, preacher, I would, but. And listen, when everybody else was doing that, Eleazar said, let me at it, boys. You know that old cartoon Scooby-Doo? I was like that little scrappy dude. He had to hold him back, brother, and he wanted to go fight somebody. I'm talking about we need some men of God who's willing to go fight. We got, can I say this? We got too many sissy men in the church. We sit in our padded pews and we just want to be comfortable. We want everything to go our way. We just want to be complacent and apathetic. Well, I'm talking about some men of God. For sure. And no matter what the cost, no matter what, brother, they'll get up and they'll say, I'm going to fight the battle. Oh, sir, keep swinging your sword. Preacher, I'll tell you, I did my best to show you some reasons why I'm going to keep swinging my sword. What you do, brother, is up to you. But I'm telling you, I believe there's some men of God here that love Him and that have made up their mind. I'm just going to keep swinging my sword. Pastor Jeff, amen. Amen. Amen.
The challenge is put to us today, gentlemen. Brother Clement played and sings a song. I just simply ask that you take a moment and do a little inventory. Has that felt to you? Has it come to you in some way, shape, or form? Just be honest and bold enough. Meet us here at the altar, Brother Clement, and go to play and sing. Meet us here today. Seek God and make you be one of those men. Thank the Lord for the man of God who brought the word of God today. I pray that you continue to pray for him